Okay, I am now recording. I see Jess. Howdy, howdy. Nice weather in Vegas. Austin, I think you're going to have a good weekend here. They're not
Yeah,
letting
look,
a whole, yeah, they're not letting a whole lot of media out there or fans for that matter, which is, well, there's, I think 20,000 fans.
yeah, it
But
looks all right out there. I mean, it's weird. It's always seems to rain when race cars comes there, and it's in the so
we were just talking
hopefully,
about that. Yes, the
hopefully
cliff
it
at the
won't hold
weather
off.
sometimes. Okay, so let's get this party started. What do you say?
Cool, sounds good.
Okay. First of all, Austin, give me your thoughts on coming here to Vegas, what it means to you to be able to race here, coming to Vegas in this mile and a half, first time this season on a mile and a half track. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Vegas is the first of a few important races for us early in the season. You know, it's the first playoff race, so obviously that carries a lot of weight. So we definitely want to come here and learn something, whether if that's being able to optimize past packages or learn things new to be able to try and improve on in the playoffs. So I'm excited for that. I think we'll have a fast car quest Ford Mustang. We always seem to have speed there, just haven't been able to get in victory lane yet. So I'm excited. We led a lot of laps here in the spring race, so expect to try and do the same.
Love to hear your perspective on what happened last week in Homestead, certainly with a local guy getting in his wreck with a couple of laps to go here and some of the controversy around that. You still had a good finish. What did you finish? Fifth, I think, in Homestead?
Yep. Finished
Good.
fifth.
Yes, but with Noah Gregson and that accident, what did you see from your perspective, or did you see anything from there?
I mean, I didn't see it until after the race. Obviously, he was far enough ahead to where all I knew is that there was a caution, and my mind was already on the restart. But no, it obviously in that position it sucks because he's got the race under control, and then you lose it. It's obviously not the first time he's put himself in position to win that race. So I'm sure that stings with him. But man, it's racing. I mean, you got to move on and bounce back, and I'm sure he's looking at this weekend as an opportunity to do that. So those guys have been strong in the past. They were strong in this race last year. So expect to be racing him.
How are the Vegas guys there? You got Riley Herbst, who's from Vegas, and also Noah Gregson, who watched Kurt and Kyle Busch when they were, and of course, Brendan Gaughan and guys like that driving NASCAR. Uh, Vegas, I know you being from Columbus, it's Vegas seems to be a bit of a hotbed now for motorsports. It's rather interesting. How are the Vegas guys to deal with out there on the Xfinity tour?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, just talking about Noah, I mean, I think he and I battled for second place for the majority of the race last year. And, Riley's in a great position with a new team that swept both races here last year. So, like I said, I expect both of those guys to be strong and contenders running up front and someone we have to try and beat to win the race.
You got to be excited about going full-time NASCAR Cup Series next year. And NASCAR is becoming more diverse with different tracks, ovals with more road courses. That seems to be right in your wheelhouse, wouldn't you say, with your history?
Yeah, I don't complain against it. That's for certain. I think there's some really great racetracks in the country that NASCARs I think would suit well for. And I think the fans really enjoy seeing more versatility in the schedule, being able to turn on your TV on Sunday and be able to see something different every time. It's not the same game. It's completely changed every single weekend, and I think that's fun. You look at the first three races we did to start the year. We have the Super Speedway at Daytona for the Daytona 500. You've got the Daytona Road Course, and then you've got Homestead. I mean, those are the three most extreme driving styles that you have to have. I mean, I think the only other one you'd have is Martinsville. And I mean, that's extreme differences with cars, driving styles, setups, it's in strategy. And I think that's what makes NASCAR racing exciting. And the more that you can do that, I think the more the fans will be engaged and excited to tune in every week.
A lot of people curious about Bristol this year with the dirt on that track. You don't have a whole lot of experience on dirt. I asked Kurt Busch about it earlier this week about him racing on. He doesn't have a whole lot. He just says, let's go out there and do it type of thing. What are you expecting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an observer for that weekend, so I'm with
Oh,
you
okay.
guys.
So you're not going to be driving that weekend. All right.
Yeah, the Xfinity Series won't be there, so I get to watch on TV with everybody else and sit back and have some popcorn because I'm sure it'll be a show. It's just what kind of show is it going to be? I think there's a lot of anticipation. I think the track is doing a lot of great things to try and be 100% prepared for that. Those guys at SMI are pros, so it's going to be fun to see how that turns out. Obviously, a lot of laps for a dirt race. Most dirt races aren't that long, so to your point, I don't have much experience, but NASCARs are about the most opposite thing. You'd be closer driving a street car around a dirt track than you would an actual, a dirt modified or a dirt late model. So it'll be a fun race. They'll obviously be beating and banging, and it's just how long does it take for the track to rubber in and become really slick? So it'll be hard to drive. I can imagine.
Now you guys have had a little while where you haven't had any practice laps, just going out and running the race type of thing, but with the new normal, I guess, in NASCAR for a while here. So you've gotten used to it. So I want to ask you how tough that is, but is it, how do you do that? Do you guys have the specs that you've run in previous races on 1.5 mile ovals, Charlotte, for example, and just plug that into Vegas and hope that they fit and hope that they work and make some adjustments for various things?
Yeah, there's definitely some minor challenges, and I think everyone's really proven to themselves or within your own race teams that you could do it, because otherwise, beforehand, everybody's like, man, we can't unload. We got to get our heights right. We got to get this right. Got to get that right. And now we just have to. So it's an adapt and react situation. I think the teams have gotten used to it. As a driver, I try and be prepared to do that the first lap of practice, whether it's being up to speed with the first lap of practice or being up to speed the first lap of the race. That's something I've always prided myself in doing. And I feel like in some ways it's shown some strengths since we've gone to this way. But at the same time, I think the biggest thing you miss out on as a race team and as a driver is the opportunity to develop your cars, because you don't get, if you're changing something, like you said, you're bringing in a setup that if you're changing something and doing something you don't know, it's a big risk. You can ruin an entire, and we did that last year. There were a couple of races where we basically had throwaway races because we tried to learn something, but we also had other races where we tried to learn something and we got better or won the race. So there's a higher risk involved in doing that. So it makes it a little stressful for the teams during the week, but otherwise it's what we have to do. And it's another thing that's gotten us back on track sooner than any other sport.
Okay, final question here. Your season in Xfinity now going full time to Cup racing next year. What's your focus? Is it going to be winning the championship this year in Xfinity, or preparing for Cup next year, or can you do both at the same time?
I think I really have to take advantage and do both at the same time. Obviously, my number one focus is to position ourselves in the Final Four and have a shot at Phoenix by the end of the year. That's where my priorities lie, but at the same time, I have a very unique opportunity to prepare for my future. And that means racing on Sundays and racing against the best guys and in the fastest cars. So that can't be overlooked. And in the ways that I can learn from the Select Cup races that I'm going to do this year and apply it to what I do on Saturday is probably the best things I can do on track and off track, whether if it's getting my life together or trying to get, physically prepared to do those races. There's probably some events that I'm going to do double duty at, and they'll be the first time I've done that many laps in a weekend. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the challenge and looking forward to seeing how I can take advantage of that. It's something that I think is going to change for me throughout the year is how I view my week to week racing as a way to prepare for 2022.
All right, very good, and go Buckeyes, right?
That's right. If you're my grandma, let's go Buckeyes. She's diehard Buckeyes, man. So I don't have a foot in the game, but I know who to root for during Thanksgiving.
Yes, no, I grew up in Southern California, but my mom's from Columbus. So so it was always, but I had to hate Michigan as a kid, and I didn't even know why. Like, why? Yep. Michigan does nothing to me, but no, yeah. Yep. So
that's great.
Very good. Thanks, Austin and Cliff, Jess, Gabrielle. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Austin. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. I'll be posting this online later today, and then I'll let you know what we're going to be doing on air.
Cool.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, guys.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Appreciate it. See y'all.
Bye.
Good luck, Austin. See you.
Good.